siguro medyo magkasing edad kami nitong si Kahasang, no? Hindi namin naabutan yang si Marcos Senior, no? Siguro medyo sa bagay, kita naman sa pagmumukha na medyo magkasing edad kami nitong si Kahasang. Hindi natin naabutan, narinig na lang natin na sa magkabilang panig na kesyo nung panahon niya medyo magandang sitwasyon ng Pilipinas. Sa kabilang panig naman marami siyang pinagugur, marami siyang ninakaw na ginawa. Pero base sa performance ngayon ni Marcos Jr., parang bumabaling ho tayo ngayong mga panahon na to doon sa maraming pinatahimik at maraming ninakaw na naratibo. Kasi yung naratibo na maganda ang buhay noong mga panahon na yun, parang
Sila
wala,
ko, doon ko narinig ang iba't ibang pananaw.
pero itong experience na to kay Marcos Jr., pang-aabuso, pag sinusubukan nilang patahimikin yung mga pumupuna sa kanila, yung mga nagsasalita, yung kanilang mga kalaban sa politika, kagaya ng ginawa dito kay Tatay Digong. Itong mga bagay na to, naranasan din doon sa rehimen ng matandang Marcos. Na ngayon, nasasaksihan ho natin, na nasa front row seat, ika nga, di ba? Yung mga bata-bata, hindi pa nila naiintindihan kung ano nangyayari. Pero tayong mga medyo may edad nakikita ho natin, ika nga, yung kasaysayan nakikita natin sa ating mga mata kung gaano kawalang hiya itong administrasyon na to. Kung paano nila patahimikan ng kanilang mga kalaban sa politika. Ano ba naman ang gusto nyo? Kayo dyan sa Malacanang, nabili nyo na lahat ng mainstream media. Di ba? Inyo na lahat. Di ba sapat? Di ba, pinapalayas na nga lang yung si Maris Umali dyan sa yung mga kababayan nating OFW dyan sa Netherlands. Diba? Bias, sinisigaw-sigawan siya. Hindi pa ho ba sapat ang mga mainstream media kayo dyan sa Malacanang? Kasi ang problema dito, wala nang naniniwala sa mainstream media. Yung ibinayad nitong mga walang yang politiko na to para pamanguhin sila sa media, hindi gumagana. Kasi mas pinapakinggan yung mga nagsasalita sa social media, kagaya nitong si Ma'am Sas Rogando Sasot, nitong si Ma'am Crisette, yung mga nasa third floor. Tayo naman dito, nagre-react lang naman tayo, di ba? Kumbaga pinapakinggan lang natin yung mga punto de vista ng ating mga iniidolong vlogger. Yan si Ma'am Crisette, yan si Ma'am MJ, yan si Attorney Trixie, yan ho talagang malulupit, ika nga. At yun ho ang sinusubukan nilang patahimigin.
Lalo na ang mga aktivista. Mula kay Erap, Arroyo at Aquino, sa panahong iyon, ang pangalang Marcos ay itinuturing na mabagsik, korap, mapang-api dahil sa martial law. Ngunit para sa aming mga Ilocano, iba ang version ng kwento. Para sa amin, si Marcos ay isang matalino at matapang na abogado, isang leader na walang katulad. Na hanggang ngayon, ganun pa rin ang tingin ko sa kanya. Kahit anong sabihin ng iba na paninira, martial law, maraming pinatay, maraming kinurakot. Guys, meron din akong sariling pagre-research kahit hindi ko siya inabutan. Kung bakit ko gusto ang Ferdinand Marcos Sr., sa akin na lang yon, para walang argumento.
Correct, tama ho yan magrespetuhan tayo ng ating mga paniniwala. No, kung iyon ang nasa saloobin nitong si Kahasang, respetuhin ho natin. Pero tayo dito sa PH Update 2 kasi, siguro naan na tayo, kumbaga nagkaroon na tayo ng bias pagdating dito sa mga Marcos dahil sa mga kababuyang ginagawa nitong si Marcos Jr. Ang dating ho ngayon, pagka narinig natin yung apelidong Marcos, halimbawa, itong si Marcos Jr., sinasabi nila yung si Marcos Sr., halimbawa si Marcos Sr., sinasabi nila napakaganda, napakahusay ng kanyang pamamahala nung siya pa presidente ng Pilipinas. Pero dahil ang kanyang anak ang sinasabi, di ba, i-redeem niya yung apelyido ng kanyang ama, kumbaga kung ano yung mga naranasan ng mga Pilipino nung panahon ng kanyang ama, yun ang mararanasan ng mga ordinaryong Pilipino ngayong mga panahon na to. Yun ang expectation natin, ipagpapatuloy yung mga naumpisan nito itong si dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Kaso mga kababayan, hindi ho yun ang nangyari. So kung tayo ho, hindi natin naabutan yung rehimeng Marcos Sr., dahil dito kay Marcos Jr., imbis na mapaganda niya, mapabuti niya ang apelidong Marcos, lalo pa hong lumala ngayong mga panahon na to. Parang itong administrasyon na to, kinukonfirm niya na yung mga suspetsya ng mga hindi nakaabot dito kay Marcos Sr. na corrupt, human rights violator, di ba? Ganyan pinapatahimik yung mga kalaban sa politika. Yun yung aligasyon sa kanyang ama. At yung mga hindi nakasaksi doon sa kaganapan ng mga naunang panahon, sa panahon ni Marcos Sr., yun naman ho ang kinukumpirm nitong anak nitong si Marcos Sr. na ganito ho ang kanilang galawan, ganito ho ang galaw ng mga Marcos. Pero, again, respeto natin itong si Kahasang. Palakpakan natin si Kahasang. King.
Kahit anong sabihin nila noon, wala eh. Gusto ko yung senior. Noon pa man, sinabi ko sa sarili ko na someday may tatayong Marcos ulit para linisin ang pangalan ni Ferdinand Marcos Sr. at yung pamilya nila. At dumating nga ang araw na yon, naging senador si BBM. At bilang taga-Norte, naniniwala ako na siya ang muling magbabangon sa pangalan ng mga Marcos. Tumakbo siya bilang vice-presidente, ngunit hindi siya pinalad. Sa panahon yon, si Duterte ang naging pangulo at sa wakas, naipalibing na rin si Ferdinand Marcos Sr. sa libingan ng mga bayani. Sa dami ng dumaan na presidente, si Duterte lang ang nakagawa noon. Fast forward tayo at si BBM na ang pangulo natin ngayon kasama ang mga Duterte. Pero bakit ako nadismaya? Noong unang taon niya, medyo nadismaya na ako. Nang makita ko ang mga kasama niya sa kampanya ay nagsialisan at yung iba naman, siya mismo ang nagtanggal.
Nako.
Sabi ko noon,
Ano yun kumbaga red flag yun Marami hong na-off doon, di ba? Medyo maging tayo dito sa PH update, parang may mali dito sa mama na to. Di ba? Yung mga kasama noong panahon ng kampanya, maliban doon sa mga nasa PCO, pinagtatanggal yung mga, kumbaga, nangarap, nag-i-imagine na kasama niya noong panahon ng kampanya, yung mga nagtanggol sa kanya, kagaya na lamang nito si Atty. Vic Rodriguez, yung kanilang mga napag-usapan, kung paano ipagpapatuloy mga naumpisa ni Tatay Digong, kung paano pagagandahin ang buhay ng sambayan ng Pilipino. Hindi ho yun ang nangyari. Kumbaga yung mga nakapaligid sa kanya nung panahon ng kampanya, napalitan ho ito ng mga oportunistang mga smuggler, di umano. Pew-pew. Hindi, di umano napalitan ito ng mga di umanong ginagatasan ng administrasyon para sa pangsarili nilang interes. Yon, PH update yun. Huwag mong magbanggit ng ganon na napapaligiran ng mga smuggler, napaligiran ng mga oportunistang individual na wala naman talaga ang gustong mangyari kung hindi mapabuti ang kanilang mga business. 'Di ba? O yung yung 'di ba, yung rice tarification law, 'di ba? Yung pagtapyas sa taripa ng mga imported na bigas. Anong nangyari doon? Brad, sabi mo pagka tinapyasan natin ang taripa, bababa ang presyo ng bigas. Anong nangyari doon? O sinong nakinabang? Yung mga di umanong malapit sa pamilya na hindi na nila kailangan mag-smuggle, mababa na taripa, papasok na sila sa legal.
siguro strategy niya ito para mas lalong mapaayos niya yung administrasyon niya. Hanggang umabot na nga sa kaso ni Duterte na kinuha ng Interpol. At lalo akong nadismaya nung marinig ko ang kanyang rason. Kailangan natin pagbigyan ang Interpol para kapag tayo naman ang may kailangan, tutulungan nila tayo. Para sa akin, ito ay isang kilos ng isang leader na traidor at mahina. Pasensya na.
Para sa akin, ito ay isang kilos ng isang leader na traidor at mahina. Di ako nagsabi noon. Itong si Kahasang ang nagsabi noon, Sir, dalawang kamay, saludo doon sa banat mo na yon. Talagang sa isang sentence, i-describe mo kung itong si Marcos Jr. Galing nitong si Kahasang. Subscribe kayo, i-follow nyo, supportahan natin si Kahasang. Matagal-tagal pa ho natin makakasama yan, palakpakan.
Pero ito ang opinion ko. Pagkatapos ipalining ni Duterte ang ama mo sa libingan ng mga bayani na For how many years hindi ka nila tinulungan? Okay? Isa yon. Pangalawa, bago siya naging Pangulo, okay, kumampi siya kay Duterte, sa mga Duterte.
Nako!
Dapat kung alam mong maraming kaso yan, kung talagang mamamatay tao yan, hindi ka na kumampi sa kanya.
Boom! Yari na naman si Marcos Jr. doon. Wala na. Yung mga argumento na yon hindi pa natin narinig. Hindi pa natin narinig kailanman dahil ngayon pa lang natin pinag-uusapan itong mga ganitong klaseng issue. Tama naman yung punto nitong si Kaasang. Ha? Bakit nyo palinigawan itong si Sara Duterte, pabalik-balik kayo sa Mindanao, kayong dalawa ng kapatid mong manggagamit, kung palang merong bagahe itong mga Duterte? Kung mamamatay tao talaga. Tama si Kaasang doon. O anong ginawa ninyo? Ginamit nyo ang mga Duterte para maligawan yung mga taga-suporta ng mga Duterte para kayo iiboto. Inamin din ni Marcos, ni Amy Marcos, na kung wala ang mga Duterte, matatalo sila na ni Lenny. Kasi sa totoo lang, hindi, sa bagay yung mga DDS, solidong DDS, talagang maghahanap ng kandidato yan maliban dito kay Marcos Jr. Tayo talaga nun, decided na tayo, Senator Christopher Bongo. At itong si Senator Bato de la Rosa, kumbaga, okay na eh. Kumbaga, ready na tayo eh. Hindi natin maintindihan ang pihit ng kapalaran bakit tayo dinala dito sa ano. Pero hindi naman ho natin pwedeng isisi kay BP Sara lahat ng nangyayari na to. Sa totoo lang, hindi ho natin pwedeng isisi yung mga nagsasabi. Dapat kasi tumakbo ka presidente, hindi ho ganun gumagana. Hindi ho ganun gumagana ang buhay ka nga. Kung ang tinakbo ho niya vice presidente, yun hong nakatakda ng tadhana sa kanya, yun ho talaga ang magiging posisyon niya. Okay? Ang lang ho talaga, masyado hong naging ganid sa kapangyarihan, masyadong naging addict sa kapangyarihan tong administrasyon. Masyado silang napraning kung anong meron sa mga Duterte na to, bakit lokong-loko ang mga tao sa kanila. Wala pang eleksyon, nagsisigawan na sila ng Duterte. Yun hindi nila matanggap. So totoo lang, meron tayong narinig kanina. Grabe ang bigat sa dibdib ng mga nakikita ni Marcos Jr. sa social media. At ngayong mga panahon na to, malabo naman hindi ka pwedeng tumingin sa social media. Diba? Malabo hong mangyari yun. Panahon ng social media, sa ayot sa gusto mo, titingin ka sa social media, sa ayot sa gusto mo. Diba? Ang sakit, naging presidente ka na lahat. Pero hindi mo pa rin nakuha ang respeto ng sambayan ng Pilipino. Itong 8 years old, na kung saan talagang pinahiya nyo, yinurakan nyo, pinadala nyo sa dahig ng talagang questionabling pamamaraan. Siya ho ngayon ang pinagkakaguluhan. Baka magpunta ka ng dahig, Marcos Jr., baka duraan ka pa ng mga OFW doon. Real talk lang tayo dito Hindi naman nakakapanakit yun. Yun pagpapakita ng hindi siya mahal ng ating mga kababayan, di ba? Para sabihin respeto nung 32 million ang bumoto sa kanya. Bakit hindi nyo respetuhin itong si VP Sara? 32 million ang bumoto sa kanya, kay Marcos Jr. 31 million lang. Ibalik natin yun dong argumento na yun. Baka kasi mga bangag to baka magdamdam sila dun sa dudurain sila. Mga kababayan nating OFW. Kasang banatan.
Ano ibig mo lang sabihin? Kumampi ka sa kanya noon para kumuha ng boto. After that, ngayon, parang tapos na tayo. Okay? Pwede na kitang ipamigay.
Nako,
anong tawag mo doon? Kung talaga may paninindigan ka, dapat noon pa lang, hindi ako kakampi sa'yo dahil mamamatay tao ka. Diba? Marami kang kaso sa war on drugs. Diba? Bago ko tapusin ang video, gusto kong iwanan sa inyo ito. Dala natin ang pamana ng ating mga ninuno, mabuti man o masama. Ngunit kung hindi mo gusto ang iniwang pamana at ayaw mong mamuhay ayon dito, kumilos ka at baguhin ito sa sarili mong henerasyon. Kakabsat yung lagayan, meron tayong kanya-kanyang opinion. Okay? Paniwalaan nyo ang gusto nyo at paniwalaan ko yung gusto ko. Hindi ibig sabihin na I'm from the North, wala na akong karapatan na suportahan si Duterte. Hanggang sa susunod,
boom, burum, boom, boom. O, akala mo, hindi ko alam yung outro mo, boom, burum, boom, boom. Maraming salamat, kahasang, no? Alam ko yung storya niyan. Dati kasi, hindi naman ho talaga siya ano yung parang lifestyle vlogging. Talagang mangingisda ho yan, namimingwit-mingwit. Napanood ko yung mga luma niyang video kasi na-curious tayo dito kay Kahasang. Dati pa, hindi ngayon. Tagal na nga nitong tab na to, nung pang March 17 to, ngayon pa lang natin ginagawa ng reaction video. Hindi, pero saludo ako dyan kay Kasang. Ilocano pero may paninindigan at talagang alam kung ano nga ba ang tunay na nangyayari ngayon sa ating bayan. At dahil dyan, ako, tayo mananahimik lang at papakinggan lang natin kung ano itong mga kwentuhan dyan sa Bilyonaryo News Channel. G.
Been necessary.
Well, before I continue, I would like to remind everybody that as resource speakers, we were reminded by Congressman Paduano not to attack the committee since we were all still, well, technically still under oath, and it's part of the rules that we cannot speak about it until after the hearings have been terminated.
Special ho kasi itong ano na to, itong pagdinig ng TRICOM na to. Yung mga naunang hearing, especially dyan sa Senado, binabanatan natin yung the way na yung flow ng hearing, yung mga tanong ng mga senador, kung paano tanungin itong mga resource person, di ba? Yung kay yung PIDEA Leaks, di ba? Binanatan natin yung pagdinig, yung paano yung flow ng pagdinig, yung pagtatanong, pero wala hong ganong pagbabanta na natanggap ang mga vlogger o kung sino pa mang nagkokomento dyan sa mga issue na yan. Pero dito issue na to, medyo mabigat-bigat to ito kasi mga vlogger ang kasama doon sa hearing in aid of legislation. Kaya tayo medyo dumistansya din dahil kailangan ho nating pagbigyan yung kagustuhan nitong si Karapali Luwalhati, okay? Di ho natin pwedeng meron silang rules, bahay nila, rules nila, wala tayong magagawa kung hindi sumunod dahil baka makontempt o diba? Baka hindi maganda ang dating sa kanila ng ating mga reaksyon, yung ating kahit nga itong mga inimbitahan, di ba? Hindi nila masyadong pagkatapos ng hearing nakita natin yung paggalang kahit na yung mga nangyari doon sa araw na yon, marami sa ating mga kababayan hindi nagustuhan, nandun pa rin yung paggalang doon sa rules ng House of Representatives. Hindi bali na doon sa mga tao doon wala tayong paggalang o hindi tayo naniniwala sa kanilang mga pinaglalaban, pero doon na lang sa rules ng House of Representatives. Game.
So there would be
yes,
more hearings to come.
He did indicate to at least one more. There's at least one more, yes.
One more.
And going to the hearing last Friday, there were 3 vloggers that were grilled by lawmakers that admitted to posting fake news. But correct me if there's anything inaccurate here. Were there vloggers that admitted to posting fake news?
No, actually, it was not an admission to posting fake news. First of all, the definition of fake news still so far has eluded all of us. So to be able to admit or not admit to something that you don't know might be incongruous. So what they did was they admitted to making the posts. However, they requested the congressman to read the entire post to provide context. But they were grilled on particular statements made in those posts. For example, Ms. Chrisette Chu says she prefaced her post with the rumor that is going around supposedly indicating that some of our uniformed personnel were resigning. So, but
After
she did,
the arrest of former President Duterte. Yes.
she did indicate daw, meaning that this was said by somebody else. And this is where she was constantly questioned about. However, a further reading of what she had posted would indicate that it was a message to uniformed personnel not to resign and to continue serving because this is the time that they are called to defend the country.
Okay, so based on the context, if you read the full post, it was
Yes.
not fake news as far as Chrisette Chu was concerned.
Yes, yes.
Let's go back to the definition of fake news. You said it's eluded everyone, everyone in terms of finding the meaning of fake news so that
Yes.
it's
Kakaumpisa pa lang nitong interview, disclaimer kaagad tong si ano Teka lang ha, ayusin muna natin to ha. Merong babala itong si Paduano. Hindi kami pwedeng magganito ganyan. Kaya, di pwede yun.
Difficult for us to judge or say which one is fake news. You also at the hearing said that fake news really, there's no definition, it's time-bound. You gave us an example, Galileo, where
I didn't say that all fake news is time-bound. I
Okay.
said, for example, mayroong fake news na time-bound. So that was number one in the
okay,
list
so
of
it's
examples.
very good that you're
Yes.
sitting here right now because
Yes.
I saw that portion as a clip in one of the news coverage from that hearing. So
Yes.
yun lang yung portion na na-capture. So
Oh, there's a whole list.
yes,
Yeah,
okay.
yes.
So you only said it's one of the forms of fake news.
Yes.
So for example, Galileo back then was prosecuted for saying that
It's 1622.
that
this-
the planets revolved around the sun.
The
and then-
heliocentric
Yes.
model.
And then it turns out he was correct. So
Yes.
what then do you think are the different types of fake news and how do we agree on what the
Kaya
definition
nga, no, nung pa palang mga naunang panahon, no, may uso na pala tong peking balita na to. Kaso kalaunan, yung tinuring nilang peking balita, yun pala ang katotohanan. Ayos. Kaya ngayon ha, baka yung pagtawag naming bangag kay Marcos Jr., sabihin nyo, peking balita. Pagkatapos ng administrasyon niya, biglang, hindi pala peking balita. Totoo pala na bangag talaga siya. Diba? Hindi natin, wag muna nating anuhin yan ngayong mga panahon na to dahil baka kayo dyan, mag-Galileo kayo. Ika nga.
Well, what I was giving was examples of which Congress might want to consider. Would this be fake news? So if you listen carefully, the question always at the end of the example was, fake news din po ba ito? So for example, clickbait. Clickbait would sensationalize a headline. I'm a victim of this. But in the body, it would be truthful and possibly even an objective account. But the headline would be a screaming headline to ensure clicks.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
Something sensational
yes,
or
Correct.
scandalous minsan and then when you read it,
Maraming ganyan, marami nang clickbait dyan especially dito sa YT, marami nang clickbait. Pero tayo medyo dumidistansya na tayo sa ganyan. Mahirap yan Dangerous ika nga.
hindi naman pala. So you're saying would that then fall under fake news? If you have the headline
Yes.
being a bit inaccurate or slanted, but then
Yes.
the body is okay.
Correct.
Yeah, that is
it
an
was
example.
a question actually
Yeah.
to our lawmakers because Congressman Acop was asking me what is the benefit of fake news. And he said nobody has been able to answer this so far. So I said I have a problem with the question because we have not yet defined what constitutes fake news. So in order for you to be
Galing po siya
able to
doon,
answer any question or even to be held accountable for so-called fake news, let's define what fake news is. So for example, one of the examples I gave, and Filipinos are notoriously tone deaf when it comes to sarcasm. So
That's true. It's almost not part of our culture, no? So
No.
that would be a good question. Do you think that sarcastic statements or what they call hyperbole,
Yes.
right? Like super
Figures of
extreme.
speech, yes.
Yeah, figures of speech that are extreme. Would that constitute fake news?
Correct.
Was there any guidance at the hearing on these matters?
To be fair, Congressman Acop allowed me to speak about it, and he said that you're right. So, for example, I also indicated that in order to be held accountable and in order to criminalize fake news, there should be damage. As with any forms of free speech that we restrict, as with any form of unprotected speech, there has to be damage, or there has to be the damage can be widespread or personal, and there must be malice. So,
But
also
now,
a
when
difficult
we're talking
concept.
about malice, for example, as an element, don't you think this should already be covered by our laws on online libel? Because online libel also addresses
I agree.
statements that are false and that are posted or said in malice and that cause damage or harm to the reputation of someone. So isn't that sufficient to cover instances of posting fake news?
That is, in fact, one of our arguments. However, if you look at Article 154, unlawful utterances and unlawful use of means of publication, you'll find that there is news there. Now, first of all, why do we use the term fake news? So, therefore, it must be news. And in fact, that's how it started, fake news. So Article 154 actually addresses that, but limits it to publications such as printing, lithography, etc. So perhaps taking a look at 154 might help our congressmen. So there are many other means. You just need to amend it, possibly to include social media. But there must be criminal intent.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, why would you punish anybody who's done this out of ignorance? Out of a reliance on another form of fake news.
Yeah. And I guess my other question would be for the public, if you're reading or listening or watching a vlogger compared to a news outlet,
Yes.
you do have that, as far as, well, this is for me, I would have that difference in terms of reliance.
Correct.
Meaning, if it's a news outlet, in my mind, this would have been vetted and I can rely more on what they're saying as news,
Yes.
as reliable news.
Correct.
Whereas if it's a vlogger, I would take it with a grain of salt because it can be someone repeating something, and usually that's what they're saying. They're not even citing sources. They would say, I heard, or
That's
someone
correct,
said.
yes.
So is there going to be an effort to make that distinction?
Well, what I worry about is that social media and traditional or mainstream media is being pitted against each other. So, for example, indicating a trip I made to China to study new techniques in short form videos, the way China does their broadcast news, etc. The seminar that was also taken by journalists who also announced this, proudly made news articles about their trip to China. It's the exact same thing. But thereafter, they make insinuations about being pro-China and so on. But mainstream media who went to the exact same seminar did not receive the same kind of backlash. So my concern is that mainstream
Ibig sabihin pala yung mga yung issue na seminar na yan hindi lang pala yung mga vlogger ang nagpunta. Pati ho pala yung mga kung tawagin mga journalist. 'Di ba? Yung mga legitimate yung mga kasapi sa KBP. Nagpunta din pala doon sa seminar na yun dyan sa China.
and social media are being pitted against each other. When the internet is huge, there's room for everybody, and yes, there must be a distinction made.
Yeah.
Now,
So are you referring to Filipino vloggers attending a state-sponsored seminar in
Yes,
China?
alleged
So did you make
state-sponsored.
that statement that there were Filipino vloggers that attended a state-sponsored
I could not because the
seminar?
questions, to be fair, Congressman Suarez didn't make that malicious imputation. It wasn't him. It was later on mainstream media making me part of the headline saying vloggers admit state-sponsored trip to China when in fact it's ridiculous because the same mainstream media who reported that also sent reporters to the exact same seminar in December 2024. In November 2024, there were ones who were previous 2019. It's done every year, twice a year.
So later on, the state
Grabe no, matindi ho pala yun. Kasi nakita nating nagkalat sa mainstream media yung sa yung naging statement nitong si Attorney Trixie na talagang sinabi niya na meron talagang inatinan na seminar doon. Ang problema pala, hindi lang ho pala sila, hindi lang mga vlogger, pati ho pala itong mga nasa mainstream media.
statement in the media was only against vloggers when in fact, for that seminar, both traditional media and vloggers attended.
They were my classmates.
So sino nga nag-sponsor nun? It's really,
It's
not
really
the government.
China.
It's really the
Yes,
government of
it's
China.
the radio television of China.
And it was to train on what?
Oh, well, it starts off, of course, with an understanding of Chinese history. And a lot of us had questions about our shared history with China. And like I often say, I am a masteral candidate in archaeology. So our links with China, our past with China is always of interest. So they did provide us with a background on China. They showed us their networks. They showed us their studios. They taught us the new, and at the time, it was the emerging form the TikTok, the short form video, 1 minute, maybe up to 10 minutes long, but you pack it with everything because this addresses actually the attention deficit of much of this new generation. So there's that, and including how to sharpen messaging and so on.
Do you think that there is a danger with the way that social media is more widespread or consumed more by people globally? Because the reach of vloggers, it seems that their ability to reach people is faster and more widespread than traditional media.
Yes. There is concern on the part of our government officials. Okay, let me just clarify that, yes. The government officials are concerned precisely because social media has a wider reach. But if you look at the Filipino mentality, even before social media, the most widely consumed articles in a broadsheet have always been the commentators. Because most often, they need somebody to explain the relevance of the news. So you read the front page, you'll see what's going on, and then you check the commentators to digest it for you. So that's possibly, it's an indication of what we need in terms of information. Vloggers translate the news also. I'm not saying that all vloggers do this, but there are those who are so popular because they translate for the ordinary citizen their effects or, just exactly what is going on. Plus, they come with specialized knowledge. So I disagree with some of the journalists who have been saying that they go through rigorous training, they vet all their information. Of course you do, because most of you have studied journalism. But what about those vloggers with specialized knowledge? Sasso Agando Sasot, who is a doctoral candidate for international relations, certainly knows more than the average journalist about international relations. Lawyers have an advantage, doctors have an advantage, people with other specialized knowledge, history majors, archaeologists, all
Now
that.
that you mentioned that, I do remember there's a European woman that I watch on YouTube because she has specialized knowledge on physics.
Yes.
Trying to remember
What's
her
her
name.
name?
She's a scientist, but yeah.
I watched the same thing,
Yeah,
yes.
she quantum mechanics or whatever. She's very good at explaining
Yes.
it. So, but to that extent, I would say that some vloggers are basically professionals that
Yes.
have that additional medium of outlet
Yes.
to either explain or share their knowledge. So during the hearings, what was really the main concern that was trying to be addressed in aid of legislation? Is it just because when you say fake news, you're right. It should be, if we're following the sense of that word, it would be news, meaning
Yes,
it should be announcing something, at least similar to traditional media. So
Yes.
if we go to the revised penal code, it would
It
have that
passes
same
itself off as
implication.
news. Yes.
So if
Article
you're just
154.
commenting on recent events, is that something that is sought to be covered
Exactly,
by
yeah.
legislation?
So that is the question, because both MJ Kiambao and Chrisette Chu were questioned on that. So my question is, therefore, are they trying to define fake news as any post made on social media?
Yeah. Was there any resolution on that issue?
No, but it was duly noted by Congressman Akop.
Okay, so perhaps in the second hearing or the succeeding
fourth,
hearing,
yes.
fourth, that's something that can be covered. But I'd like to go back to Chrisette Chu. She also at some point apologized